I can't believe you actually did it.
Well, we did it.
All right.
How do you get it in the tornado?
Well, you got to get in front of the tornado and put it in the damage path, and then get out again before it picks you up, too.
It's a suck zone.
Hey Drew, have you ever been in the suck zone?
Is this how we're really gonna start this one? Like we're already off the beaten path here.
I mean, I just wanted to know. I mean, it's the suck zone.
Welcome back. This is episode 92 of the Last Row Podcast. If you're new to the show, our website is thelastrowpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at The Last Row Pod, Facebook / The Last Row Pod, Spotify. Head out to Apple Podcasts. Send us an email, thelastrowpodcast@gmail.com. Please consider leaving a 5-star review if you're enjoying the show. Badway, it's getting stormy in here.
It's 92 episodes too many. It's too many episodes.
It's too many.
Have you considered less episodes, Drew? It's too many.
Can we delete old ones? There's a couple
we should delete like the worst 5. Let's delete them.
I could probably name them off the top of my head here, but I'll save it. I'll save it.
Well, let's do Twister, Drew. 1996. That's the movie we're doing today. Released May 10th of 1996. I like that you put the exact date.
I want people to know like what is a summer blockbuster or set up for the summer blockbuster, and this is one. I'm pretty sure I saw it in May of 96.
And May is also like peak tornado season, Drew. So
yeah,
there you go.
Out in the plains.
Yeah, it's a drama / disaster movie directed by our boy Jan de Bont.
A triumphant return.
Of Speed and Speed 2 fame.
Cruise Control.
We got to do that movie, by the way.
I've never seen it in my life, not once.
Me either, and I want to. I want to see it.
Jason Patrick is in it, right?
Yeah, T-1000, right? Is he T-1000?
That's Robert Patrick.
That's Robert Patrick. All right, so Robert's brother. Robert's brother Jason.
Jason Patrick is the fireman guy from Entourage when he's so intense and he gets mad at Vinny Chase for messing up the scenes.
Yes.
That Patrick.
He was probably like super professional on the set of Speed 2.
Speed 2?
For no good reason.
I like to think that everyone's Entourage personality is their actual personality. Same with Ralph Macchio and all these guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll do that movie next. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a double feature of Jan de Bont movies. So, written by Michael Crichton, Drew, and Annie Marie Martin. Michael Crichton, man, of Jurassic Park fame.
I thought that was an interesting thing there, right?
Etc. Drew.
I thought that was interesting.
This was not a novel. He wrote it as a screenplay. So,
and Joss Whedon was brought in, our buddy, for some rewrites
to fix it.
This thing was plagued with production issues. I won't go into it, but I was surprised to see Crichton on here. But I thought that was cool.
Yeah. So, our scores here. We got an IMDb of 6.4 out of 10%.
That's about right.
That's about right. Rotten Tomatoes, 61%.
That's about right.
Yeah, that's about right. Metacritic, 68%.
That's about right.
It's a little bit high, but it's a little bit high. What's this, Drew? Letterboxd?
I added a new edition.
Letterboxd now? 3.1 out of 5?
I mean, hey, we're on Letterboxd.
Drew,
we got to be on there.
Can I say that 5 is too small a scale to rate a movie?
But you just double it.
But yeah, but like, what's the point then of?
Because it lines up, right? I mean, but isn't the 5 stars like that is the scale, right? I agree with you.
So I'll tell a quick story about Letterboxd, Drew. So our friend and listener to the podcast, Jeremy. So we got into a fight over Letterboxd about like me not giving Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse a high score on Letterboxd, but it's like you're only giving me 5 options. There's no half digits.
There is,
so
though.
It's like
you can put a half.
So if I give Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse a 2 out of 5 just because I thought it was an okay movie, and then I give like Deuce Bigelow European Gigolo a 3, but it's hard because there's only what am I going to do? Am I going to give everything a 4? Am I going to give everything a 3?
But that means you can do half scores on there. You can.
I don't know.
But that means that you're going what you gave Into the Spider-Verse a 4 out of 10.
So is Letterboxd like? Do you rate it based off of what you like, personal preference, or based on how good a movie is? Because I feel like Letterboxd is more preference than is this movie good, which the other things are.
No, well, it gives you 2 options. So you can also say that you like the movie. It's a yes or a no, and you also give the score. So the way that I
that's-
do it is if I like it, you could give a thing a 2 out of 5, but you think it's a great movie. It's a bad movie, but you like it. It's a 2 out of 5, but you give it the like.
Yeah, but if it's like pass fail, like I like 97% of the movies I watch. I can
Same.
like it and still give it a 1, can I? Like, for example, the movie Kids, right? The NC-17 movie Kids.
Yes.
I like that movie, but it's still a 1.
Yeah. But why are you giving it a 1? Because it's
I don't know.
disturbing, or you didn't because it's
No,
bad?
I don't know. It's like it's poorly acted. It's, kind of a shitty story, but it's like it's powerful. It's powerful. And on the other hand, I could not like Star Wars, but it's still at least a 3, even though I don't like it. So I think it's flawed.
I don't know. It's how you feel like rating it. If you look at my letterbox, it's all over the place. I'll have to link it in the show notes, and I'll link Badway so you can see all of his into the
I feel like
Spider-Verse.
if you remember the night, there was one night where we're at Jeremy's house.
Oh,
and,
Jeremy's blood's boiling right now. Listen to this, I'm sure.
And I downloaded the app and I rated 100 movies.
Yeah, we went through a list,
and then I never touched the app again. I
use it all the time. I rate the movies that we watch on here, so I already rated Twister.
All right.
I won't tell you what the score was till the end.
I got to pick it back up. I got nothing against it. I just feel like I have limited options. And it's if it's based on personal preference over how good the movie is, it kind of skews the scores.
I think it's how good the movie. You're rating how good the movie is. It's like you're allowed.
Then I'm doing it wrong, I guess.
Yeah, I think you're doing it wrong. I think you're doing it wrong.
Okay,
no, it's however you want to do it.
It's fair. It's fair. Anyway, Twister.
I'm gonna give this podcast a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, do we like it or is it good? It's good. It's a 5.
Is it?
But do you like it?
Is
no.
it?
Yes, no. It is. Admit it, it is. Twister, during the approach of the most powerful storm in decades, university professor Dr. Joe Harding and an underfunded team of students, we'll see, prepared the prototype for Dorothy, a groundbreaking tornado data gathering device. That's a mouthful. That's in the suck zone.
Yeah.
Conceived by her estranged husband, Bill. When Harding tells Bill that Dorothy is ready for testing and that their privately funded rival, Dr. Jonas Miller, has stolen the idea and built his own, Bill rejoins the team for one last mission.
One last ride.
A lot going on there.
I got a question. I got several questions for you right now. Right.
All right.
I'm pretty sure that we already did this conversation before, but we need to rehash it.
What's that?
Is he estranged or is she estranged? Because who is estranging? Like, who's the estranger?
I feel like if you are left, you're estranged. If you're the left one.
Or if you left her, so you're estranged to her?
No, if you got left.
You got left.
I could be dead wrong on this, but I feel like if someone left you, you are now estranged.
I need to look this up because
are they both estranged?
No, I think maybe the lever, the loser. I don't know,
because there's a winner and a loser. If you're a loser, the loser is estranged.
I'm gonna look this up right now. Okay, here, estranged. Dictionary. Estranged, adjective of a person no longer close or affectionate to someone, alienated, of a wife or a husband no longer living with their spouse, his estranged wife. Okay, so maybe he is estranged. But she's also estranged because she's not living with him either.
I guess they're both. It has nothing to do with winning or losing.
They're both. And then the other question that I have for you too is, underfunded students, are they funded at all? Do they even have any funding?
Yeah, are they jobs? I don't even know if they're students. Like, whoever said they were students, I don't.
That's
even know
the only situation that you would ever know that they're students is us reading this thing from Google here, which I question anyway.
Yeah, they never got into that. And all those people, they look like they were 40. I mean, we got Philip Seymour Hoffman running around, for God's sake.
It's true. It's true.
We have Cameron from Ferris Bueller. Like, he's definitely not in high school anymore.
You got Oppum from Band of Brothers.
He's been in the war. He's been in the war. He's not.
He was in World War II.
I mean, to be fair, he looks 17 always. To be fair, but
oh my God, there's some good taglines here. So I'm curious what you think. I'll just go through these rapid fire here.
We'll see about that.
First one, the dark side of nature.
Yeah,
I can see that on the poster.
That's okay. That's not bad.
Don't breathe. Don't look back.
You got to breathe. I mean, it's not like the tornado is like hunting you like a serial killer. Like, you can breathe.
It's going to suck your breath out.
It's going to suck your breath out.
It's something else.
It's not a demon sucking your soul.
Go for a ride you'll never forget with an exclamation point. I don't know if you like how I
That
did
sounds
that there.
a little too happy. Like, I feel like, this is like a roller coaster. No.
Yeah. The beautiful yet destructive side to life.
What?
Too long.
This is beautiful and too long.
Too long. And then here's an almost tagline, right? I saw this on IMDb. The almost tagline was, "It sucks." And that was originally going to be used, but the producers felt like it worked too much to the advantage of disappointed audiences and critics. So
Actually, that's the worst tagline you could ever give your movie.
that's why they didn't want to put that.
Yeah. Like, we get it, the play on words, but you don't want to,
Too much. Too much.
It's too
Financials. Budget in 1996, $92 million estimated.
Is that a lot? Seems like a lot.
Cumulative worldwide gross, 495.7. So it kind of killed it Badway.
We got a hit. I remember it was a big deal back in 90. I remember it being a big deal for sure.
I just looked this up. $95 million in 96 is the equivalent of 166 today. So,
Dude.
inflation, man. Inflation. But it was a big deal. I saw this in the theater and I remember watching it and liking it. Did you watch this in the theater?
No, I think I saw it. I think I rented it from Linko,
Yeah.
99 cents a day. But
Get that VHS tape.
92 million. Oh, hell yeah, VHS. Well spent. Like, a lot of practical effects in here, and they hold up, man.
Yeah, it looks
What did
really
you-
good.
What did you think about the effects in this movie? Because I
thought they were great.
I thought they were fantastic.
Especially
for-
that last tornado at the very end, that mile-wide F5, looked
Yeah.
great.
Was it 25 years old? 25?
It was really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think, I think when you look at it, the way that they used the practical effects, like you said, felt like the driving was cool, the way they were driving through cornfields and all that kind of stuff. Like the stunts were good. The way that they were at the movie theater was really good too. I thought it was great.
Can you remember one scene that looked fake? Like, really, besides maybe the cows
cow.
flying? But
Yeah.
still, it didn't look ridiculous.
Which I saw something too. Apparently that cow flying was a reused asset from Jumanji of like a zebra or something,
Oh, yeah.
which I thought was funny. But no, I even the water twisters, like the twin sisters or whatever they call
Yeah.
them, they look good
Yeah.
too. The water spout,
Yeah.
96. There's
Yeah.
movies that came out well after this that look a lot crappier than what this
Yeah.
is. So I think
Absolutely.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, well, job well done.
I found a couple pieces of trivia that I thought was interesting, and this first one is something that I want to ask your opinion on this. So I'll just read it verbatim, but this is from IMDb. It says Tom Hanks was the original choice for playing the role of Bill Harding. Hanks read lines with the cast and even chose the character's wardrobe, which stayed in the final film, but he dropped out of pre-production and said, quote, "It wasn't what I was trying to do with my career at that time. It called for an eccentric man with a southern flair, and that wasn't me." While on the set of Apollo 13 in 95, Hanks felt co-star Bill Paxton was perfect for this role and this film and helped him land the role. Kurt Russell and Michael Keaton were also possible considerations. Now, the question for you is that kind of like a backhanded compliment? Like, hey, I'm too good for this, but you know what? Yeah, hey, Bill, you're good for this. You need an eccentric wacko. Like, you're good. This will be great. You do it. What do you think?
No, nobody. You're putting words in his mouth. Wacko. He didn't say wacko.
That's exactly what he said. Put a quote.
Come on now.
Quote.
No. Yeah, I don't really buy Tom Hanks as like a country, a central USA type of guy. So I get it.
He would have been too
Southern flair.
I don't know that he would have had the personality for it. He would have played it too straight laced, like scientific. I feel.
Yeah, like he's not going to go like so when he went Southern for Forrest Gump. Like, that's a completely different character. Like, if he's going to play a standard down to earth guy, yeah, I agree. I think he did the right thing, and I think that like also doing his boy Bill Paxton a solid. Like that's good. That's good stuff.
Do you find Bill Paxton like a leading man? Because I know he's been a leading man,
typically.
But he's well known more for like side characters and supporting characters.
I think he's better off as a side character, and I think this is a good opportunity for him to lead a movie like this. That is, it's a summer blockbuster, and where the effects are kind of like the lead character, not so much with the love story being the secondary situation. I think it was perfect, and I think Tom Hanks was absolutely right for all parties involved. I don't think it's a negative.
Do you think it would have been better with Kurt Russell or Michael Keaton?
Yeah, well, they're better actors, so yeah, possibly.
But would it have been a better movie? Because you could get Daniel Day-Lewis in here, and I don't know that it would have been a better movie.
Yeah, but Kurt Russell could play that character, and so can Michael Keaton. You know, Michael Keaton loves playing divorced guys.
He does. Oh man, what about another one that I thought was interesting too, just because we come from the movie industry, but with a very loud and bass heavy surround channel, this film was notorious for destroying surround sound speakers in theaters worldwide.
Wow, jeez,
like they got to know about the mix, and maybe they mixed it wrong here. I guess I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds like a lot of complaining going on there. It's supposed to be loud. That's a good thing if it blows out your speaker.
It's like the guys in their cars when the car's rattling the frame and the screws are falling out. You get the bass too heavy.
That's my '84 Omni right there.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah, that's my Dodge Omni right there. Yep.
Oh man, a couple of awards here. Another things before we jump into the movie. It won a couple of awards and it was nominated for a bunch, but I'll just call out a couple. So definitely one of the better awards on this show, the 1997 BAFTA Awards.
A Ball and Ass Fun Times Award.
Fun Time Awards. It won for Best Achievement in Ball and Ass Fun Time. No, in Best Achievement in special visual effects. So they were validated for what you said.
So for all you long time, from the start listeners of the Last Row, that's my favorite joke of the entire series. Is the BAFTA, the Ball and Ass Fun Times Award. It's my favorite joke, and I'm glad it's back.
Anytime we see a BAFTA, we gotta put that in there. And then, I don't know if you were presenting at this, but the Blockbuster Entertainment Award, I don't know if you presented the popcorn.
I was there. I presented for actor.
What is the award for that? Look, is it a VHS tape or is it like the popcorn thing? Like what is it for that? No,
it's definitely like the logo that's on like the face of the building. Like the Blockbuster, the ticket. Yeah, it's definitely like a silver stand and like a little pole sticking up and then the ticket.
Did they give you one of these? Did they have them in the store back in the day?
Oh yeah, I won so many Blockbuster awards for best stocker, best putter of new releases on the wall on Tuesdays.
Oh man,
you'd be surprised.
So you presented the award for favorite actress for action adventure. So there must have been multiple genres, but Helen Hunt won that one. Yeah. And then it also won an MTV Movie Award for best action sequence.
Oh, of course,
specifically for the section that we talked about, the driving of the truck through the farm equipment, which was actually a great scene.
Driving through the house.
Yeah, I think that's the one. And it drove through all the houses in the farm equipment, which was fantastic. And then there's a bunch of different nominations, like 17 plus. But it won. It was nominated for an Oscar for best sound and visual effects.
I'm glad. I'm actually glad it got the nod for visual effects because it certainly deserved it.
I was too lazy to look up who it lost to, but just know that it was nominated.
Sure, it was some bullshit. Some Star Wars bullshit.
And then another prestigious award, the Kids' Choice Award for favorite movie. It was nominated. It did not win.
Movie.
Again, didn't look up who it lost to. I'm lazy this week. And then an MTV Movie Award for best female performance for Helen Hunt. Yeah. She won what really counted, the Blockbuster Entertainment Award.
Yeah.
And the rest, who cares, right?
Yeah.
So
she still has that on her mantle to this day.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll link out to the awards in the show notes if you're interested in looking at up. Maybe other people will be less lazy than I am, but let's just jump into this thing.
Let's do it.
Let's jump in. Let's jump into the tornado, into the eye of the storm.
Into the suck zone, Drew.
Let's get into the suck zone, Badway.
Get into it.
Good thing we're not on video right now. The storm chasing. What is going on with storm chasing? What the heck kind of money do you make doing this? And what kind of person are you doing this?
Not enough, man. You gotta have a death wish. You obviously gotta have a death wish.
Step into the mind of a storm chaser here for us.
I can't even begin. Like, I guess you have to be really dedicated to your scientific work. I mean, these people are doctors or working towards being a doctor, I'm assuming, but like, it can't be very lucrative, can it? Like,
are there amateurs? I'm assuming there's amateurs.
They look like amateurs.
Like Joey Slotnick, he's got
he's
a tech guy.
Yeah, I mean, as we're going to get into, like, you have like the ragtag team versus the corporate rivals. It's like those people look like the ones that are making money. Like, these people just look like they're doing it for the research, right?
Well, Philip Seymour Hoffman has like an RV top on the back of his truck. They've got. I'm assuming this is research funded, right? Like grant funded or something.
Funded,
especially if Dr. Joe Harding is a professor or whatever, right? They're students, but they didn't really go into too much of that aspect. They just kept talking about how Cary Elwes, his group, was in it for the money and not the science. And there's this giant rivalry throughout the movie that I thought, and you said it before we recorded, that it was a bigger part of the movie. It's been a while. It was more like a dangling thread that kind of went through.
Yeah, it's like an extra thing, if you will.
What do you think of the rivalry between this group? Because you do have that ragtag team that sort of just out there for the love of the chase. They love the science. They love the thrill of it. And then you got Cary Elwes. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right.
We always do this weird. Elwes?
Cary Elwes. Whatever it is,
Cary
right?
Elwes.
But you got that group, and they have the like coordinated black Dodge Caravans, back, or the Chrysler, whatever the hell it is, Town and Country. They've got the vans. They've got that giant RV mobile thing. What do you think? Which side are you on? Which side are you on with this group?
I'm on team corporate.
Me too.
Honestly.
Me too.
Because what's wrong with wanting a little taste, Drew? You
like the taste?
I want a little taste, If I'm gonna, I mean, this might sound bad, Drew, but like if I were a scientist and I were like, I mean, this is gonna be bad, but if I were developing, say, like the cure for cancer, right? And I did it, I want a little bit of taste. I want a little bit of kudos for that, right? In the form of monetary compensation. Like, yeah, it's great for humanity that we all. Should I stop right now, or am I burying myself? Or
I'm not gonna. No comment.
I mean, first and foremost, let's get the people cured. Like, honestly, yes.
You're not the guy that's gonna raise the EpiPen price 6 times, right? You're not doing that.
No, and I don't want this to be out of pocket for the people either. But I mean, like, come on, give me, just give me give me a taste, just a taste.
Was he getting paid that much, or did he just have good equipment? Like, I don't. Is he out there? He wasn't driving like a Mercedes or some crazy car. Like, they were Dodge Caravans. Like, they were coordinated, but he had good Doppler radar. Yeah. He had awesome binoculars. Like, it wasn't like it helped his craft and it helped him do better research, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like, why suffer with garbage equipment?
Yeah, they were clearly looking for a little bit of fame, which I would look for too in this scenario.
He's a personality.
But all jokes aside, if it's at the end of the day, if the research helps the public, get a better heads up on the tornadoes when they're coming so they can leave and save lives, then what does it matter where the source comes from? What does it matter if the corporate team makes an extra dollar off of it?
I 1 billion% agree with you. I couldn't stop being mad about it when I was watching it. I'm like, they were shaming Cary Elwes for wanting to, like, he's a personality. He's eccentric. He's like Jim Cantore on TV. Should we hate him and only follow the guy who has weather vane in his backyard? Yeah. Like, oh, he's in on TV. Why do you get to trust him? Like, come on.
They should be working together, right?
I agree with that.
Yeah. And I mean, we talk about the Dorothy system and like maybe they stole it, maybe they didn't. Maybe they
that's a
improved upon
different thing.
But like, I don't know. I mean, there's Coke and Pepsi. It's like, I'm sure there's slight differences. I'm sure they crossed their T's and dotted their I's about how not to get sued by the ragtag team.
They went
right?
with the square. They went with the square shape instead of the circles.
Do you think these scientists patented that thing, or do you think it's just a fly-by-night scenario where they didn't even think about such a thing?
And
they didn't
how did you find it?
Yeah, they have a spy. Is there a spy student?
Now maybe there's some shadiness going on behind the scenes that we don't know. But before they unveiled Dot 3, which is the copy of Dorothy, I had no problem with Cary Elwes' like character or anything they were doing. They were just chasing the storm too, and there was this competitive nature, but they made it into a big deal. Like, he's such a jerk. Like, I get it, he's a personality, like we said, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal personally. And I'm not a corporate sellout here either. I just think, like you said, he's getting paid. He's getting paid. So the leader of the corporate team is Cary Elwes, as we said, right? But the leader of the other group is Helen Hunt's character, Dr. Joe Harding, and her ex-husband, or TBD ex-husband, Bill Paxton, Dr. Bill the Extreme Harding.
The Extreme.
Helen Hunt is this meteorologist and storm chaser. She's also got her PhD in what? I don't know, meteorology, I guess. The movie opened up. She's definitely dealing with some kind of trauma. She lost her dad in this F5 tornado, and it seemed like that was what fueled her to become this meteorologist. She says even later in the movie that she wanted to help warn people a little bit faster. What did you think of that whole beginning scene? And was it necessary?
Yeah, her dad went alt F5, didn't he? Boom, out of here. Yeah, my concern was in the opening scene where like the dad gets his family into the bunker while the tornado's going on, and he's like holding the door shut manually, right?
Unnecessary.
Unnecessarily. And then the tornado rips the door open and he flies out and to his death, right? While the mother and the daughter are like deeper in the bunker, totally fine.
Like 2 feet away?
Why was he holding the door? He would have been fine had he just walked into the bunker. Let the door fly open. You're already safe. You're in the basement. Like, yeah, you want the door shut. You don't want debris flying in there, but
it's sucking out. It's a suck zone.
You're good. Yeah, you're out of the suck zone.
It's not the spit zone. Like
it's not the suck zone. I don't know. It seems like he made a bad decision. You know, it's not so much that the storm got him; it's that he got himself got. Right?
Yeah. I mean, first off, look, I've never been in a tornado.
You haven't? You haven't?
I've never been in a tornado, although they're more frequent here around these days.
You're going on record as saying you've never been inside a tornado.
I've never been inside of a tornado. Yeah. And one's never been inside of me. But that guy just did such a poor job. And you know what? Yeah. Should I say it? He deserved to get sucked out.
Yeah, for sure. He's messing with the tornado. He didn't have good tornado knowledge.
He's in Oklahoma. Shouldn't he know this? Like they had a sweet little storm cellar too. That looked like a cool place to hang out. To be honest, they had canned food, bomb shelter.
If we're being real, probably could have done some upkeep on the door.
That's true.
The latch was just lacking.
Aren't most storm cellars like metal doors? He had it was a wood door with a little latch,
what's that gonna do? What's it gonna do?
It's like a stall, like a toilet.
You know, like he had a state-of-the-art tractor sitting there, but couldn't spend any money on the cellar door, could he?
It all went to the tractor, man. I
think it's an outrage, you know.
But this whole situation messes up Dr. Harding, and she's got she becomes a storm chaser, right? And that's her background.
Before we move on from that, like the name Joe, like I'm a fan for a woman. I like the nickname, you know, Joanne. You call her Joe.
Yeah, that's a good name.
I would name my daughter Joanne and then call her Joe. You know, my grandfather was Joe, so it was Joe Badway. So like I could name my daughter Joe.
That's a good name. Well, you can't have the E on it. You got to have just J.
Well, no, it's still a J-O, but it's like, hey, that's Joe Badway.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's a good name. Yeah. I like that as a name.
My future daughter. There we go.
So Dr. Harding's husband, Dr. Bill, the Extreme Harding.
Extreme.
Former storm chaser, right? Because he left to become, what did he do? A weatherman?
A weatherman?
Known for his
TV weatherman.
Known for his bizarre, quote, tornado whispering methods. What do you think of Dr. Bill?
My first thing when I heard of Dr. Bill was, why is his name the same first name as the actor?
Do you think he chose it?
No. That's like, I don't know. Do you think that Michael Crichton wrote it and they didn't know Bill Paxton was going to be in the movie? And then like it just so happened that it was a Bill? Like how often does that happen? I feel like it never happens.
It's not very often, put it that way.
Like, I feel like if Bruce Willis does a movie and the character's name in the script is Bruce, that they change the name of the character. Because
isn't it weird when he's like hearing his name?
I would think it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would want it to be different always.
So if Tom Hanks or Michael Keaton were in this, the name would have still been Bill? Or would they have gone with Michael or Tom?
Well, no, yeah, it would definitely, like, it was Bill, and they just never changed it, because they never thought in a million years that Bill Paxton would be the lead of this movie, I'm sure.
Do you think he sold out?
Well, no, because I don't think he did it for the money. I think he did it to, like, change his life, right?
I guess. Now, that sort of leads us to the question of some of the fiance stuff, and maybe we need to just jump to that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of like, it's pretty much the whole movie. Like, yeah, we could sit here and talk about how the tornadoes wrecked a lot of things in this movie, but, like, you know, that doesn't really lend to the way we do things on this show. So, I mean, what we want to talk about really here is the love triangle, right?
Yeah, I mean, just describe the situation. What are we dealing with this whole
All right.
thing between Paxton Hunt and his fiance?
All right, I'm gonna try to like not butcher this, and I'm gonna try to not to get us into the suck zone here. So hopefully I do this right. I mean,
Suck zone.
I mean, we could take that multiple ways. So long story long. So Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt are estranged from each other, as they say. So they're about to get through a divorce. The divorce papers were sent in December, and it is now like May. So the divorce talk is relatively fresh, although we don't know how long they've been separated. So in all that meantime, Paxton got himself a new fiance.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know her name?
I forgot. That's how pathetic my research is. This week.
It's Dr. Melissa Reeves.
Yeah.
So, and she's a psychiatrist or psychologist.
She's a therapist.
A therapist.
A sexual reproductive therapist, right?
A reproductive therapist. So what Paxton needs to do is finalize his divorce, which Helen Hunt is kind of putting off signing, which is interesting. So Paxton decides to drive down to Oklahoma to get her to sign it finally so he can get married, but he decides to bring his fiance along for the ride. So that's where we're at right now.
Did he bring her or did she want to go? And I think, was it a violation?
That's a very important distinction, Drew. It's not stated, but I think that she wanted to tag along. He was like, you know what? I've been talking about my ex here, getting this divorce finalized. She's dragging her feet. I'm going down there. I'm going to get this done, and we're going to get ourselves married. And she was like, you know what? I kind of want to see, your old stomping grounds. Why don't I come along? And he was like, no, you don't want to do that.
Like, how much of a fight was it?
And she insisted. And she totally insisted.
I wonder how they met, too, because Helen Hunt at one point brings up the fact, like, where did you guys meet? Did you meet her at the station? And she finds out what job she is. And he's like, essentially implies, were you her client? And then he's like, he doesn't say no, but he's insanely offended by the question.
Yeah, well, they get into like they're in a car and they get into like your prototypical, stereotypical married couple bickering about everything type thing. Here's my theory, and I think this is a great theory, and I just thought of this thought in my head. He's a weatherman. He's a TV weatherman, right?
Yeah. So
he's on the news. So I'm thinking maybe there's like, I don't know, a fluff piece, or if it's a daytime, or maybe it's a morning show, right? Maybe they had Dr. Reeves on a segment about, relationships, or, how they have this little
like
fluff
the Today
pieces in the
Show or
morning.
something.
Today Show, something like that. I think maybe she was a guest. She had a segment on the show, and he was there, and they chatted it up, and that's,
They cut it over to Bill for the weather.
Yeah. They cut it over to Bill, and then when the red light was off, he slid in.
Was he a practicing TV reporter, or he was gonna leave for it? It was sort of vague to me, unless I missed it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he was actually did an episode or not yet, or if he was on tap to do it. That I don't know.
What do you think of Dr. Reeves, the therapist and his now fiance? Was she a strong trooper for dealing with all the craziness that she was there? That dealing with all this stuff, right? Chasing storms.
Dude.
Like, at what point do you just leave?
Yeah, I don't know if I would have made it past the second the car flipped right in front of her and she had to swerve to not die. That's like kind of where it's like, all right, are we going? You would ask your fiance, are we done yet?
Can I be
Let's
done
go.
yet?
I think a regular person would have been like, so we're leaving, right? And then once Bill says, well, no, we got to get the storm. That's when it's over, right?
Yeah. Well, I thought she was pretty cool for dealing with it.
But she stuck with it a little bit. So here's my thing. We might have different answers on this. When do you quit? Would you keep going? Would it intrigue you, or are you like, this is nuts? Like, this is not worth dying
Me
over.
personally?
I'm leaving. Yes.
Me personally, I would probably have left because
Yeah.
they were crazy. Like they loved it. It was like almost psychotic the way that they were. They weren't like,
So
I don't feel, and let me say this right. I don't feel that they were like outwardly disrespectful to the storm, but I felt like they were too cavalier and too reckless. They were reckless.
They acted like they knew the storm. Sure, they have experience in tornadoes, but they're not respecting the storm.
That's what I meant.
And as the closing credits from Eddie Van Halen, entitled "Respect the Wind."
Yes, they were not respecting the wind.
They don't respect the wind.
That's
right?
what I felt. I felt like they were too. They were like they had a death wish. I feel, and for as scientific as they were, I felt like they didn't treat it with the reverence that it desered. And I felt like if I was his fiance, I would have been thrown off by that and said, "Well, crap! Like these people are just nuts."
So here's the thing. I think it is realistic in that these types of people that do this type of work would disrespect the wind.
Yeah, it's like adrenaline junkie.
And throw caution to the wind. No pun intended. But the most unrealistic thing about the movie is that this fiance held on for so long.
Yes.
Right? The first storm was enough to me. And that's why I get your position totally. And the way her character was written and portrayed, she should not have gone on past that first storm.
I agree.
But they had to drag on the whole relationship story until it comes to a head. Me personally, I probably would have stayed because I think it's pretty cool.
I mean, I think it's cool, but I felt like it would have been cool if they were a little bit more careful. But I think the other thing that I think that they could have done a better job of playing up is the rivalry between Helen Hunt and her. And I feel like maybe it just wasn't portrayed correctly or it was just written poorly, but maybe she was too concerned with trying to put up the appearance of like, I'm tough, I can handle this, because she's competing with Helen Hunt for Bill Paxton's affection at that point. It became a rivalry, and that made it into like a weird thing, and maybe that's why she stayed longer than she probably should have.
Yeah, maybe she was trying to fight for a man. That could have been it. Yeah. But like, you could only, I mean, a car almost flipped on top of her, Drew, in the first half hour of the movie.
I agree. I mean, let's talk about Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. Like, so they're separated, obviously. He sent her divorce papers. What caused this separation? You know, they definitely had the bickering, but it didn't seem like they hated each other.
To me, and this is me trying to read between the lines, because this is not, clear at all. I think that she got a little nuts.
You think so?
A little too reckless. And I think he pulled back, where she was like, listen, Joe, you're getting a little obsessive with this. You're out of control. Maybe she had a near-death experience prior that was off-screen. And he was like, I can't go on like this. Because she's clearly affected by her father's death. And the fact that maybe she's not communicating with him. And
Fair
she's
enough.
just focusing on, head down, do what I got to do to check these tornadoes. And maybe it was got a little too hardcore for him. So maybe Mr. Bill Extreme, he got out extremed by Joe, in my opinion.
Extra extreme. She's got 3 X's in the extreme,
yes,
and he's only got 1.
Right. I mean, that's me. I don't know. That's my interpretation.
I forgot to ask you this too, but do you think it's a violation that he showed up with the fiance? Like, forget why she tagged along or not, but do you think it's a violation? He should
have put his foot down, right? And said,
because I feel like you're trying to flaunt your new life.
Nothing good comes of it. And look what happened. The marriage ended before it started. I mean, in the long run, maybe it's for the best, but that's a very delicate situation that you're putting yourself into there. That only bad can come from it. So
about the divorce too, do you find it odd that this sort of subverts the typical movie trope where we talked about this a little bit before the air, but I'm curious your thoughts on this. He's initiating the divorce, right?
Yes.
You mentioned she didn't sign the paperwork for, months on end. And then at the very end, she conveniently forgot to put the final signature. Oh, here comes the storm. Got to go. So, she was sort of stringing him along. Like, we talked about how long she had the paper. She had them since December. And I think you said peak tornado season is what, sometime in the summer, late summer or something, right? Because it's storms.
May and June, yeah.
Is it a violation that she didn't sign them till now? And it also, is it weird that he's the one that's sort of initiating it in this relationship?
I can understand that the person who gets divorced upon, the estranged, if you will.
Yeah.
As we say.
The estranger?
that you'd want to drag your feet, right? I don't want to
You're
do
not ready.
this because if the person still has feelings, you want to put it off as long as possible that maybe the other one will come around. But I feel like in a lot of these scenarios that it's always the husband that is the one that gets the paper served to them, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the movies, at least, or at least in these types of movies. So I also feel that, and I don't know, maybe because it's the wife and because it's specifically Helen Hunt and her style of character, that it's almost kind of charming and endearing that she's so like flippant about it.
It's like she couldn't, you mentioned it before, right? She couldn't express her feelings. So she got in herself into this situation, maybe potentially, right? Where she really does love him, but it got so far down the wrong path, and she wanted him back, but she didn't know how to get him back. She's still traumatized by what happened to her as a kid and her work and all this other stuff, right?
Yep, she wants no part of this divorce, never did, but she probably never was able to properly express herself to the point where it drove him away.
What about the fact that she is still his wife legally, right? So she's legally his wife. Now, if he initiated the papers, the process is in motion. Do you look down upon it, or is it a violation that she's basically trying to get her husband back? He has a fiance. Or is it a violation that he has a fiance before his divorce is through?
There's a lot of questions you're throwing at me here. So you're asking me, is his legal wife a homewrecker?
Yes.
So
In
that's
so
the
many
question.
words, yes.
I feel like that's yes, because I feel like once the papers are served and the server is that sure of the separation that it's over, that it's over. It's like in football terms, he's kneeling on the ball. He's running the clock out.
He's taking a knee.
Yeah, and her games of not signing and putting it off for months on end is the equivalent of trying to put up stats in garbage time.
She's chucking Hail Marys for the
yeah. She's putting up fantasy points, but the win isn't coming. Now, sometimes you get a couple onside kicks in the form of 5 straight tornadoes in one day, and which she converted on, which good for her. But no, I think that. I think that. So to answer your question, yes, it is a violation to try to home wreck your ex-husband's future marriage. But at the same time, I don't think she did anything on purpose to get him back. Yeah. Right? There was no seduction.
She was herself.
She was just living her life. She was herself.
Which I respect.
And it only took a matter of him coming back into town to realize that this is where he belonged.
And that's what makes me wonder, like, why he left to begin with. Like, he was fooling himself to think that he was going to be this weatherman. And I don't look down on the fact that he wanted to be the weatherman, but it seemed like he was looking for something. Maybe they had a bad fight. Maybe he was trying to forget about her or something. I don't know.
I think the emotions got too real, and I'm telling you, I think that she got maybe a little too daring for his liking. But at the same time, like when they met again, obviously in this movie, you can't get much more death-defying than what they did together in this movie.
Being in a tornado.
Yeah, but maybe he realized, you know what? You know, she's messed up. She's got feelings that she needs to, you know, confide in me with. I'm her husband, but at the same time, I'm right there with you. Let's go ride this tornado. Let's get sucked. Let's do it.
Let's get in the suck zone here.
Yeah, let's get in the suck zone.
What about the other piece, right? So throughout the movie, we're just going to skip around a little bit, but the fiance winds up leaving him. You know, it's too much. She's just going to get out of here because she knows she's never going to win him back. She's never going to compete with Helen Hunt at this point. It just makes sense. And she doesn't seem to hold a grudge. She doesn't seem to be too mad, like, which again, I thought she handled it way better than, you know, most people would. I wouldn't have been able to handle it with such like class. Sure. She was really nice to him, and she's like, you know what, I'm good. Like, I'm just gonna go. And he was like kind of hanging on. Is he gonna regret letting her go?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he seems like a really nice guy, right?
Yeah, he didn't seem like a jerk.
And Dr. Reeves seems like a very nice woman. I find it a little unrealistic that she's not a little mad, but at the same time, she just found out that this person who she thought she knew is a complete lunatic, right?
Yes.
So maybe that's like
Sure.
eye-opening to her to be like, all right, I didn't know that this guy was nuts like this. Like, this guy has a death wish. So does this girl. They probably, I didn't know this guy. I jumped into this relationship too soon. I'm going to remove myself before, this thing isn't going to work.
I mean, they did give him crap for getting engaged so soon, didn't they? Like, they even said it in the movie. So maybe he didn't really know her that well.
I feel like it's a little unrealistic that there were no emotions involved from either of them about ending this. But at the same time, I wonder, like, how long they were dating, because it seemed like less than a year from the separation, right? If we're talking about divorce papers in December, or now in May, I don't know, man. It just seems like a pretty quick jump into that relationship. So maybe it wasn't long enough of a relationship for it to be painful,
Let me ask you about this aspect of it. Let's say he sort of went along with the whole thing and then he was forced to kind of move on with his life. Let's say she did sign the papers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
How long would this guy have lasted after he had a taste of this F5 tornado and all this other stuff? And do you think he would have regretted it?
So are you saying if they would have gone through the day's events but not separated?
Yeah. Like, let's say instead of her saying, I'm going home, to, I'll meet you back at the hotel. And then at the end of the day, like, he didn't hook up with Helen Hunt or anything like that, right? Like, do you think he would have went home as a weatherman? Could he have lasted before he went back to Helen Hunt? You think it's just a matter of time?
I think the day's events, brought him back. And I think that he would not have even gone through with the marriage. They might have gone home together. Yeah. But it would have only been a matter of time.
It set in motion, like, some activities here that he wasn't coming back from.
Right.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I do. Because I think he was so far deep into the world of the tornado hunting in just 8 hours that he would have missed that. He already did miss it. He realized it.
There's no way they would have, put up the facade and actually gone through with the wedding, right? And all
I think he would have known. He knew the second that he was in the car, when he started going in the car with Helen Hunt instead of his fiance. That's when I knew. Okay, he's like, I just got to ride with Joe. I'll be back. I got to ride with her. And it was definitely a situation where you saw what path that was going down, and there was no coming back from that, in my opinion. If he went home, it was just a matter of time before they called off the wedding. Just a matter of time before he said, "Man, I don't really like this weatherman job. I got to go back out there." It's that adrenaline, right? Once you have the taste. You got to go back. Too extreme, man. Too extreme. Yeah. So we talk a lot about the relationships, but we talked a little bit about the technology, this Dorothy technology thing, this giant trash can with a bunch of, shiny balls in it.
So for those that haven't watched, it's Dorothy. It's like it's a callback to Wizard of Oz. So that's the Dorothy.
It's got a sticker of it, and there's like 4 or 5 of them, and they keep destroying them. They only have enough money for 3 of them, and then they finally
think of it as one. The coolers that are in it's like an NFL Wawas. That have the ice cream in them, or the tubs where there's 2 liters or 20 ounces. It's like a crappy tub, pretty much. Filled with
the Gatorade bottle thing on the sideline with the little push button.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, it's filled with these little sensor balls, right? I guess. I mean, I'm no scientist. That
you're not.
The goal is to get the tornado to suck them up in the suck zone, so they can record all kinds of data in which they can, is infinitely useful in predicting future tornadoes. Did I get that kind of right?
Their goal was to get the warning down, I think 3 more minutes, from 15 minutes to 12 minutes or something like that, or no, I don't know, something like that. Right?
The warning is at that time is only 3 minutes.
All right,
which
is
not enough time to get people to safety. So they want it to be 15. So they think this technology can give them 5 times the amount of time to have people just immediately exit the area when there's a tornado coming, which is good.
I don't know. I have a lot of questions and thoughts on this, but before I even ask you them, I did look this up, and apparently this is, I don't know that it's actually used right now, but around that time it was something that was potentially a real technology. Maybe how they used it in this movie was dramatized, but isn't there a better way to do this?
Yes.
I was thinking about, you go to a baseball game, you go to a basketball game, and they got the t-shirt cannon, You know, where like you can stand pretty far away, and they're shooting
Yeah.
up T-shirts to you on the second deck of the football stadium. They can't use something like that to just shoot these balls into the tornado. Like, do they really? Does the thing have to perfectly go over top of it? Can't they just go in a helicopter and drop it in, or some type of plane, or something?
Here's the counterpoint. So, the fact that the piece of crap bucket that they were using for the Dorothy was so light,
Yeah,
that you have to get the balls into, I don't know, what would you call it? The suck zone.
it's in the suck zone.
The eye of the tornado, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
right? In order for that to happen, like, you have to penetrate the swirling winds. Otherwise, it'll just knock them down, right?
Fair enough.
And it would never reach. So, but if that's the case, I'm sorry, but I'm watching the movie. In 10 minutes, I thought to myself, well, all right, they just need something heavier. And which is like their big epiphany at the end of the movie. So all they needed was a guy like me that has I have no doctorate. I'm not a doctor. I don't know damn, thing one about tornadoes, but I would just be in there and be like, yo, you gotta just have a beater truck and just drive the truck into the tornado, and it'll pick it up. And then when it picks it up, it'll also pick your balls up. Right?
Can't they catapult it too? Like, get a giant catapult, like they were doing this in medieval times, where they were.
If they catapulted again, it would get knocked down by the wind. You need something heavy to get into the thing.
They can't catapult it so fast that it goes in. Well, how about when a tornado goes over a house? Like, it doesn't blow it away. It kind of like sucks it in, doesn't it? It's a suck zone.
But like that's you could just plant the balls in like the attic of a house.
Yeah.
But again, you'd have to predict which house it was going to hit, which is impossible.
I mean, I think that, but a house is infinitely bigger than this teeny little Gatorade cooler thing. I don't know. It's just weird.
No, but
me.
you can't like the house. You can't predict where the tornado is coming from, so they have to drive to it. You can't just say, "All right, we're going to sit on this house and wait for a tornado to get this house." Like, you could be waiting. You could be waiting decades.
Give me the T-shirt gun, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna. I'm gonna be out there going, "Bonk." Like, you're gonna be shooting those things
like a big,
into
like
it.
like a boomerang, not a boomerang. What do you call it? Like a slingshot.
Slingshot, or those water balloon slingshots.
Yeah, the large ass slingshot.
That's what I'm saying. Or a catapult, like the medieval style,
Yeah.
where they're shooting like flaming rocks and stuff. I feel like they could just do it that way.
And while we're on the subject of like fresh set of eyes from an amateur, I mean, how close did they come to just getting an eyeball impaled by like wood shrapnel?
Very close.
Couldn't they just be wearing like motorcycle helmets? Like, I'm talking about safety here. Just safety first.
What if they wore like night gear, like they were? We're talking about medieval times, like they dress up like
like chainmail, to like to not get impaled by a pike.
It keeps people from getting bit by sharks, right?
Yeah, by a wooden. Yeah.
You know, if you could wear that in the ocean.
Why can't we have helmets? Safety equipment. Why do they have to like go head first into all this shit?
It's crazy.
I mean, this is just me, outside looking in. Like, they just bring me on. I could like tell them how they could do things just a little better,
man. Yeah, I mean, you got Philip Seymour Hoffman's driving his car.
Yeah.
You just get your car out there and just drive with them. Would they let you join? That's the other thing. If you just decided to tag along, it's like, hey, this guy just wants to learn the ropes.
Unpaid intern? Are you serious? Like, they would put me like in the eye of the tornado.
What would they make you do?
I mean, they would put me at the front lines. Obviously, if this guy wants to join, sure. Give him the job nobody else wants.
I just feel like this technology was interesting, but without even talking about the plot of the movie, it does work, right? They finally do get it into the tornado while they're in the tornado, and they're seeing the beauty of the calmness of this thing as he ties his belt to like a pipe or whatever. Something ridiculous. And meanwhile, they didn't get impaled, to your point. They're in the tornado. The tornado has all kinds of shrapnel and everything, and he's just calmly hanging on to this pipe with his belt.
The way that like he like wrapped the belt around his body, I was thinking to myself, like, he's gonna reverse hang himself. He's gonna upside down hang himself.
Or rip himself in half.
He was very cavalier with the way he was strapping them to that pipe.
Especially how they defeated their own physics when the dad is getting sucked out of the door in the suck zone.
Yeah, this whole movie just boils down to like everyone's too nonchalant. They don't respect the wind, as Eddie Van Halen says. None of these people are respecting the wind.
Especially so the other thing is, talk about the end of the movie. When that credit scene came on, I forgot. I texted you. I said, man, make sure you stick around for that ripping solo song.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I had to look it up later, and I saw it was Van Halen. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Respect the win, man. Respect the
You
win.
gotta respect it. You got to respect it.
So let's leave our listeners with a couple would you rathers.
Ooh.
I'll ask you a few of these. Maybe we can trade off. I don't know, unless however you want to do this.
Or maybe we rank them.
Yeah, maybe let's do that. Rank them.
1 through 4.
So there's a couple scenarios here. You could be stuck in a tornado with your belt tied to a pipe with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. Trust your safety.
Mm-hmm.
Or you get stuck in an abandoned mine with Dante's Peak volcano with Pierce Brosnan.
I don't want to be on that mine.
You can see a theme here where we're talking about things that we've done.
Yeah.
Or you could snowshoe in the storm of the century from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia to rescue your son with Dennis Quaid. Or you're going to get rescued, I guess. Maybe you want to be counted on.
That sounds like a terrible time.
Or you can be in Earthquake of the Century with The Rock in San Andreas.
All right.
What do you think is like, I don't even know how to say this. Is it like who's the safest? Or do you survive?
Who do you trust in these scenarios? So, correct me if I'm wrong, Dennis Quaid left his partner for dead, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like
The guy fell through the roof too.
Yeah. So, I don't, no for Dennis Quaid.
He had to get to his son though.
Pierce Brosnan, he's a smart guy, but like his plan at the end of the day was to go into a mine shaft where they could potentially be buried alive. He probably should have been buried alive,
He
right?
was himself.
Like they
He got
should have
crushed.
They should have never been found. They should have never got. Like, that should have been the end of them. That was a bad idea.
He got crushed like a feeble man, and his car like crushed him like a sardine.
Yeah. That's the worst way to go. I'd rather be frozen to death.
I'm claustrophobic as hell.
Yeah.
I was not going to be okay with that.
Obviously, The Rock is a superhero, so you're gonna feel safe with him in his muscly arms.
It's unfair though. It's unfair.
But and then we got Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, who are professionals in the Twister world, but they don't respect the wind.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
They went into the tornado.
The answer should be Pierce Brosnan, but his final solution was not ideal to me. So I'm going The Rock 1.
Yeah.
And then we have 3 bad choices here. I'd rather be with Jake Gyllenhaal
In the library?
having the wherewithal to close the door on the death frost in the library. So I'll go Rock 1,
You locked it. It's good.
Gyllenhaal 2, Paxton and Hunt 3, Dennis Quaid. Pierce Brosnan 4.
Pierce put them probably into the deadliest of situations.
I don't want to be in that hole. That's a bad way to die.
Maybe, but there really wasn't anywhere else to go. Like, I don't know. What was he going to do?
But here's the thing. Everything up to the end of that movie, Dante's Peak, I'm with Bronston. He had all the right answers.
He
up
was
until
the only
end.
one speaking truth. But if you're with Paxton and Hunt, they went into the tornado.
They're looking for the danger.
They wanted to get shrapnel to death. You know what I mean? They wanted to. They're crazy, and they did it 5 times. So I agree. I agree with your approach, though. I think Brosnan wound up in the worst of situations.
Just because he chose buried alive, basically.
Yeah.
I'd rather die in the lava than be buried alive.
If you jumped into lava like a pool, if you did a pencil, do you die like instantly?
No, we talked about this, Drew. You forget the science.
I forgot.
You forgot the science of the volcano. You die a horrible death if you jump into lava. It is not instant death.
I forgot.
It's
I'll
a
have to link to that one,
It's
too.
a slow burn.
You don't want to go on that rod.
You don't want to go that road.
So what did you think of this movie then? Let's wrap it up. What did you think of how it ended?
I thought it was great. Like,
Were you entertained?
I was expected to be kind of bored by it, having not seen it in such a long time. I was very impressed with the effects. I thought that the effects really held up, and I enjoyed the love story.
When's the last time you saw it? Do you remember?
Probably Lanco.
Yeah,
Probably
it's been that long.
1997, 98, whenever it came out on VHS. Yeah, it's been that long. This is only the second time I've seen it.
I thought it was pretty good. I got a little bored in the second half. Maybe it was because it was so late when I was watching it.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that the effects held up really well. I thought the acting was great, especially since that, you don't really see Bill Paxton in a ton of leading roles. At least at that time, he was sort of like the side character. I'm probably going to get flack for that, but it's like I think of Aliens and True Lies when I think of Bill Paxton, all those kind of movies.
Yeah,
I thought he did great.
I think that's the reason why this movie kind of works is because like the movie's full of side characters.
Yeah.
Including the two mains.
We got to thank Tom Hanks for giving us Bill Paxton in this role, because other than that, we might have been seeing the wrong fit as Dr. Bill.
Yeah.
The extreme.
Yeah. I agree. You do.
I'm definitely curious what others think of the movie. Have you watched it recently? Do you like it? Does it hold up to when you might have seen it? If you've never seen it, I'm curious what people would think watching this for the first time, especially if you've never seen it, because this is a classic to me. It's a classic disaster movie, and I definitely really liked it. So definitely send us an email, thelastrowpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment on the episode's page. Tweet at us at The Last Row Pod on Twitter, facebook.com/The Last Row Pod. Hit us up on Instagram. And if you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Podchaser. And we'll be back in 2 weeks on Thursday, November 25th with our next movie. And
Thanksgiving.
Right on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
A little pre-birthday gift for everybody from me. Yeah. So on that note, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
We'll see you. Do you think that part of the reason why Paxton left Helen Hunt in the beginning was because they couldn't find the suck-so?
I knew you were going there.
It's okay, nobody's listening anymore. They already turned it off.
I'm curious if somebody's even listening. It might be why they left. It might be why.